of her on the side of a building in Providence, Rhode Island, and the local government is forcing the people who painted it on the side of the building to erase it. This is Democrat David Morales, who is a state representative in Rhode Island.
Ultimately, we want to make sure that every community member that calls Providence home feels safe, and we can both agree that this mural behind us does not reflect Providence's values, nor does it reflect the creativity that we want to see in our city.
It doesn't reflect our creativity or our values. A mural honoring a Ukrainian refugee who was murdered in the United States doesn't make people feel safe in the city and doesn't honor the values of that city. This is a little bit weird, is it not? Odd. The Democrats in Providence, Rhode Island, are destroying a mural on a private building, no less, that honored a murdered woman because they want people to feel safe. Is there any reason people are running away from the Democratic Party? I actually have a lot of data when we come back that turns out people don't like Donald Trump, but they are scared of the Democrats. Now, I got to tell you about my perfectly snug mattress topper. Well, Erickson, why are you selling a mattress topper? Because I love it, and you will too. I was looking at some of these because, my wife likes it. It's weird. My wife in the wintertime is always hot and I'm cold, and in the summertime she's cold and I'm hot. I don't understand why women are like this, where in the season of it being hot, they're cold, and in the season of being cold, they're hot. I don't get it. That's where we are. So this perfectly snug mattress topper, you can be warm, she can be cold, or vice versa. It regulates your temperature during the night, so you're not overly hot, you're not overly cold, you sleep perfectly, except I was sleep deprived last night and it went because of the mattress topper. You can go to perfectlysnug.com/Erick and check this thing out. You save like $280 if you go to perfectlysnug.com/Erick, and you get this mattress topper. There are some, I've been looking at them for a while, and they're like thousands of dollars. Some of these, Perfectly Snug is not. It's reasonably priced. And some of them use water, and over time they can leak and get your mattress wet and can get moldy. And Perfectly Snug doesn't do that. It uses fans and wires to cool and to heat. It is well made, well priced. Perfectlysnug.com/Erick. You and your spouse can have different temperature settings. They can turn on automatically, regulate you through the night. Perfectlysnug.com/Erick.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Local leaders in 5 metro Atlanta counties urging Governor Kemp to veto legislation that would make most elected offices in those counties nonpartisan. Supporters say the measure will help take politics out of local government, but Cobb District Attorney Sonia Allen pushes back.
If that is the case, then it should apply equally to all counties, all 159 counties, all 51 judicial circuits. It should apply equally and fairly to everyone and not make a disproportionate impact to certain urban counties.
Allen says she'll join a legal challenge if Governor Kemp signs the measure. Your weather for today, partly cloudy and isolated pop-up shower storms possible. Highs around 81. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. TSA officers starting to see paychecks after more than 40 days without one because of the partial government shutdown. President of American Federation of Government Employees, Antoinette Wade, says they are being put in the middle of political games.
We're grateful. We're grateful for money coming in. That's a good thing. But we're still in a hardship. We're not out of the woods yet.
Lines at TSA have been much shorter now, we should say. And conflict in the Middle East, President Trump has expressed frustration with allies who have been unwilling to help the U.S. war effort, telling them to go get your own oil as the conflict with Iran and its closure of the Strait of Hormuz sent average U.S. gas prices past $4 a gallon. The president making the comments on social media after U.S. strikes hit a city that is home to one of Iran's main nuclear sites. And we are learning more about Tiger Woods' arrest. A report released by the Martin County Sheriff's Office says that Tiger Woods was sweaty, his eyes bloodshot and glassy, his pupils were dilated, and his movements were slow and lethargic after he hit a truck and flipped his SUV on its side in Jupiter. Now, deputies found 2 painkillers, opioid, in his pocket. The golf legend claimed that he had been looking at his phone and his radio before hitting that truck. It's 12:32.
We're grateful to have upgraded so many Georgia homes, and now we've upgraded our name too.
It's Jonathan and Ted. North Georgia Replacement Windows is now NG Windows.
Our name is shrinking, but we're blessed that our company is growing.
Smaller name, but still serving you bigger views with Infinity by Marvin fiberglass windows.
Window and door shopping made simple at ngwindows.com.
Infinity by Marvin from NG Windows, yeah!
If your air conditioner or heating system needs repair, or it's time for a full system replacement, call the name that you can trust, Jape Services. Hi, I'm Daniel Jape, and for more than 40 years we've built our reputation on showing up on time, providing clear, upfront pricing, and delivering quality workmanship with experienced technicians. And if you do need a new system, now's a great time with 0% financing and instant rebates up to $1,000. Call 24/7 or book online at Jape Services.
Men, if you're suffering from ED or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Priority Men's Medical Center restores men's love lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Priority Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Priority Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. Take control of your love life. Call now. 404-885-8885.
Did you know that D. Geller & Son Jewelers has been Atlanta's engagement ring and wedding band destination since 1939? It's Katie Kiley, and it's easy to know why. They've handpicked diamonds that just shine brighter at a value that can't be beat. D. Geller's got an unbelievable selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, from classic to modern to off the wall, because you like what you like. They can bring your dream ring to life like they have mine, with full custom abilities. D. Geller & Son, Kennesaw and Sandy Springs, and at dgeller.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Travel advisory continues. West side perimeter crash, 2 right lanes, 285 southbound, the outer loop below Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. You're stacked up almost back to South Cobb Drive. It's slowing 20 eastbound from Fulton Industrial Boulevard. If you want to avoid that west side perimeter coming out of Smyrna, go ahead and head through downtown as an alternate. And left lane construction in DeKalb slowing you down. 20 eastbound barrels out at Panola Road. Delays back to Wesley Chapel. From the TrustDale.com Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies today, high 81, lows tonight in the low 60s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms, high 85. Partly cloudy skies on Thursday with highs in the mid-80s.
We'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
It is Erick Erickson here, 877-973-7425. There's been a mass casualty event happen in the last little while in Russia. One of their largest petrochemical complexes, one of the largest in the country, has blown up. Ukrainian drones have struck it, limiting Russia's ability to refine oil and produce oil byproducts. It's going to be smelly in that area. They probably should get themselves some Eden Pure thunderstorms to get rid of the diesel and gas and explosive smell. You can get 3 Eden Pure thunderstorms and save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Erick3. They have a money-back guarantee if they don't actually wipe out the odor. See the site for details on that. They get rid of dust, particulate floating in the air. They don't use filters. You don't have to keep buying filters. No filter subscription. They get rid of 99.9% of bacteria and viruses. And they eliminate all odors. They really work. They produce ozone. It's like odor bleach. Wipes them out. You get 3 of them. Upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV, wherever you need them. If they don't wipe out odors, you get a money-back guarantee. What more could you ask for? EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code Erick3, ERICK3, at EdenPureDeals.com. That's Eden like the Garden of Eden. Pure as the driven snow. EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code Erick3, ERICK, the number 3, no space. Wipe out your odors today. Even those of you in Russia could probably get these things and wipe out the stinky odors of the Putin regime. Now, we must pivot. As I mentioned, I want to just be open, frank, and honest with you. And some of you won't like it. And some of you will try to navigate around it and wish it all away. You should deal with reality as it is, not as the way you want it. And that is that a majority of Americans really don't like Donald Trump right now. They don't like high gas prices. They think the Iranian regime should be destroyed. Americans like to have their cake and eat it too. They think Iran is bad and should be destroyed. And also Donald Trump is bad for doing it because gas prices have gone up. That's just reality. Accept reality. That Americans, they don't like the Iranians. They're perfectly happy to destroy the Iranians, but also they want things cheap, and Donald Trump hasn't delivered, and therefore he's bad. It's his fault. They don't like him. Plus, he always leaves people in a sense of existential dread that he's going to tweet us into World War 50,000, and they don't like that. So his popularity is down into the 30s right now. That's not good for the midterms. However, this is the side that the people who want you to know Americans don't like Donald Trump don't want you to talk about. Americans positively hate the Democrats. Donald Trump may not be popular, but Americans would rather Donald Trump than the Democrats. Not only that, Americans would rather a sexually transmitted disease than the Democrats. Americans would rather death than the Democrats. Americans would rather many, many terrible things than the Democrats. They may take the House of Representatives. The way redistricting works in the country, it'll be close, but they may take it, but Americans simply don't like them. And now YouGov has produced some new polling, the change in partisan composition of major demographic groups in the United States. This is the run-up into 2025. The only group that has shifted towards the Democrats is white men with college degrees. White men with college degrees support the Democratic Party by a 3-point margin. White men with college degrees. That's it. Now, other groups do support, people with college degrees, Hispanics and blacks do support the Democrats, except they're rapidly turning against the Democrats. So a white man with no college degree has now shifted 23 points away from the Democrats. And a white woman with no college degree has shifted 20 points away from the Democrats. It doesn't help when you have people like Jimmy Kimmel at night on television mocking Mark Wayne Mullen for not having a college degree and being a plumber. Among white people with college degrees, white men with college degrees support the Democrats by 3 points, and white women with college degrees support the Democrats by 8 points, but that's from 19 points. They've gone from a plus 19 to plus 8 for white women college degrees. Even white women with college degrees are starting to get turned off by the Democrats. But let me give you some of the numbers here to put this in perspective. Hispanic men with no college degrees favor the Democrats by 9 points, but that's from 23 points. They've declined now to only 9 point support. And Hispanic men with college degrees have gone from 23 plus for Democrats to 13 plus for Democrats. Hispanic women with no college degrees they support Democrats by 17%, but they used to support them by 35%. Hispanic women with college degrees support the Democrats by 28 points over the GOP, but they used to be at 53 points. Black men with no college degree used to support the Democrats by 70 points, now only by 44. And young black men with no college degrees are almost tied between Republicans and Democrats. Black men with college degrees used to support Democrats by 64 points. Now it's only 49 points. Black women with no college degrees were 83, now only 59. And black women with college degrees were 82 and now 65. So the group most likely to support the Democrats are black women. What has happened? This data comes from the Cooperative Election Survey, 2007 to 2025. The estimated percent of each group that identifies or leans towards the Democratic Party minus the percent that identifies or leans towards the Republican Party from the 2007-2009 period to the 2023 to 2025 period. There has been a massive shift towards the GOP. in every single group except one, white men with college degrees. Why? When you pull the curtain back on the data, do you know what you find? People are scared of the Democratic Party. People don't like Donald Trump. You may like Donald Trump. And you know, I get this all the time. Callers, I'll get it from emailers. I don't know anybody who doesn't like Donald Trump. He says, you're never Trump. Well, get out of your bubble, people. Get out of your bubble. Most people, they're probably not telling you what they actually think because they know how diehard MAGA you are. They don't want to be honest with you. The people in this country, a majority of them simply don't like Donald Trump. But they prefer him to the Democrats, and you can't take the win on that. You're so hostile to the idea that people may not like your precious that you can't understand that there are things people don't like in the world that they still prefer to other things they positively hate. People don't like Donald Trump, but they hate the Democrats. That's actually good for you. Own it. Be nice. Love those people and maybe change their mind instead of yelling at them. People hate the Democratic Party. And do you know why they hate the Democratic Party? If you're just tuning in, let me play you this clip again of a Democrat state representative in Providence, Rhode Island.
Ultimately, we want to make sure that every community member that calls Providence home feels safe. And we can both agree that this mural behind us does not reflect Providence's values, nor does it reflect the creativity that we want to see in our city.
That is a state representative talking about tearing down a mural to Irina Zaritska that had been painted on a private building in Providence, Rhode Island, where the property owner has been told to take it down in violation of zoning ordinances because people won't feel safe to have a mural painted to honor a woman who was murdered. That's part of the problem. Democrats around the country hate Christians these days. Oh, you can say they don't, but you and I both know they do. In an 8-1 decision from the Supreme Court today, Colorado lost a case where the Democrats call it conversion therapy, where you might convince someone they're not trans or maybe they're not homosexual, they're heterosexual instead. It's actually a free speech case. Should a therapist be allowed to talk to their patient about difficult things? And the law in Colorado said no, and the Supreme Court said actually, yes, they can. The only one to oppose it was Ketanji Brown Jackson, who's an idiot. But when you point out she's an idiot, Democrats call you a racist. No, I don't care that she's black. I care that she's a moron. But the Democrats turn everything into a racial issue, and they try to silence people. The mayor of New York came out the other day, a fringe Jewish group tried to kill a Palestinian activist in New York who has called for the death of Jews and the overthrow of the American government. Let me unpack this for you. A fringe Jewish group that's actually listed as a terrorist group plotted to kill a Palestinian activist in New York. That Palestinian activist has called for the death of Jews and the overthrow of the United States government in favor of an Islamic regime. The mayor of New York came out forcefully and denounced the Jews for trying to kill the Palestinian activist. When Islamic activists threw an improvised explosive device into a crowd of anti-Islamic protesters in New York, the mayor did not condemn the terrorists, he condemned the anti-Islamic protesters. You see where this is headed? People understand where this is headed. The mayor of New York condemned by name Jews and refused to condemn Islamic terrorists. Instead, he condemned the white Americans who didn't want Sharia law in New York. It was somewhat of a silly protest, but that's where they were protesting. And the mayor attacked them, and the National Press Corps attacked them and claimed that the terrorist attack was against the mayor and his house. It wasn't. The press lied. Democrats in the United States can't tell you what a man and a woman are, and they want men to be in women's sports. They want boys to go in girls' locker rooms. And it's the girls who are the bad guys here, not the boys. Americans are pretty scared of giving Democrats enough power to make that actually happen. The Democratic Party in the United States right now is forcing you to be inconvenienced at airports and not paying TSA agents so that illegal aliens do not get deported from the United States. Americans are a little fearful of putting Democrats in charge and opening back up the border and letting people in. We've had a series of drones flying over American Air Force bases in the last week or two. We don't know who's flying the drones over the Air Force bases. The odds are it's people who are inside the country. Given the proximity and the size of the drones, who's ever flying them would have to be close to the Air Force bases. How did they get in the country? Probably open borders from the Democrats, and they want to go back to the open borders. And Americans are a little concerned about putting Democrats back in charge of that. Democrats want to push the trans agenda. Democrats want to silence and punish Christians. It's the Democrats who filed lawsuits to shut down Catholic charities and Catholic hospitals for refusing to do gay adoptions and abortions. It's the Democrats who want to shut down homeschools and homeschoolers. It's the Democrats who want to regulate private Christian schools and force them to embrace a government school accountability project. It's the Democrats who have ruined public schools and turned them into houses of indoctrination instead of education. It's the Democrats who have doubled down on protecting the teachers' unions. It's the Democrats who are on the side of criminal illegal aliens instead of American citizens. It's the Democrats who get upset when you mourn an American citizen murdered by an illegal alien. It's the Democrats who have provided sanctuary cities to the murderous illegal aliens. It's the Democrats who can't even say the names of the murdered Americans. It's the Democrats who want to destroy women's sports by allowing men to compete in them. It's the Democrats who have used the government to pressure religious people to be quiet on their views on biblical sexuality and creation. It's the Democrats who have used the government to force states to allow boys into girls' locker rooms. It's the Democrats who are on the side of the Iranian regime rooting against the Americans. It's the Democrats who are on the side of all the rogue regimes against the Americans. It's the Democrats who are propping up people like Hassan Piker who have chosen China over the United States. It's the Democrats who have their candidates institutionalize anti-Semitism such that they can't even denounce the Ayatollah of Iran because they might upset people in Dearborn, Michigan. Americans are scared of the Democrats. They fear letting the Democrats take full power. They may want some accountability for Donald Trump by allowing the Democrats to take over the House of Representatives. But at the end of the day, Americans fear the Democratic Party these days. They don't like Donald Trump. They loathe the Democrats because the Democrats are so out to lunch on not just the cultural issues of the day, but the big issues of crime and immigration and income and education and foreign affairs. The Democrats are completely out to lunch on these issues. They're held hostage by a fringe and insane progressive base that Americans do not want to restore to power. So accept the truth. The public doesn't like Donald Trump, and the public doesn't much care for Republicans, but they would positively prefer them any day of the week over a Democratic Party still driven by the insanity of the progressive left. And you Republicans in Washington can capitalize on that fear and loathing of the Democrats if you play your cards right.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erickson Show.
1251 Trustdale.com traffic center. Still a big mess. West side outer loop. All lanes blocked again. 285 southbound past Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 9. As they try to get this crash scattered about all off to the right. You're stacked up from South Cobb Drive. You can head through downtown as an alternate. You'll encounter some delays there through Midtown as well. And it's also jammed up I-20 eastbound the West Freeway from Riverside Parkway. Traffic brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Every now and then you find a deal where you get more and pay less. Now that's a good deal. That's Straight Talk Wireless on Verizon's 5G network. Find it exclusively at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Alex Williams, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WUSB.
You can count on it.
You can try and plan for it.
But sometimes it gets the best of you.
Multiple left lanes blocked, quickly impacting you as you leave the airport.
When it stops you from getting where you need to be.
Atlanta's most trusted traffic team gets you there.
Now we've got our second crash of the morning on I-85.
The most up-to-date traffic reports from Atlanta's most trusted traffic team.
Only a right lane open.
Every time you listen. Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
Let's talk about that termite bond renewal notice. They're going to increase your rate again.
Not when you switch your termite protection to Breda, because we'd lock your termite rate in for 10 years.
Mark Aram here with Matt Breda from Breda Pest Management.
They're charging more and doing less. They don't even inspect inside anymore.
Breda inspects inside, and your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, we're barreling through 2026, but it's still early, and that means it's still a great time to get organized in your financial life. And here's the good news for folks listening out there. Hoffman Financial Group is here to help with that, aren't we?
Yeah, so we make it simple, right? And it goes back to saving people time. Don't worry about you having to work with us. We work for you. So if you were to reach out to us, we would start with something as simple as the portfolio x-ray. Simple as far as your time that you need to provide us some data points on, but we'll take the hours and we'll apply our expertise to generate a pretty comprehensive look at your financial life. Specifically, your risk profile, the fees in your portfolio, the performance over last year, 3 years, 5 years, the last 10 years, against benchmarks. We'll also stress test it. Can we go back in time and say what would have happened to your portfolio during the Great Recession or the dot-com bubble that burst or the COVID correction? It'll give you an indication of how much your money is at risk. All of those components mixed into one simple 10 to 14 page report. We'll give you a copy of it. We'll walk you through it. And as I say, I have yet to see one that didn't have 2 or 3 golden nuggets, as I call them, of opportunity for you to contemplate possibly enhancing your financial future moving forward.
Make 2026 the year you take control of your financial life with this complimentary offer from Hoffman Financial Group. There's no cost for the Portfolio X-ray, and the report is yours to keep. Call 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858 and online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Dave Baker here with big news. Coolray is celebrating 60 years of bringing home comfort to Atlanta, and they're making March unforgettable. Here's the deal. Coolray will upgrade your home comfort with a new Carrier cooling system for as low as $60 a month. Look, if your AC struggled last summer or you're worried about rising repair costs, now is the time to replace it before the Georgia heat arrives. And for 60 years, Atlanta homeowners have trusted Coolray to keep their homes comfortable. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
This hour of the program is brought to you by Van Allen Golf, A-L-L-E-N, vanallengolf.com, Van Allen Golf on Instagram. You should go to Instagram and see the pictures. Follow me while you're there at E.W. Erickson, Van Allen Golf on Instagram. Their putter is gorgeous. They're making more equipment. Get in on the ground floor with Van Allen Golf, vanallengolf.com. Text golf to 33777. I'll send you the link and also to the Golfer's Journal. There is a story in the Daily Mail about Kristi Noem's husband. I have known for years there were issues, and I have not really brought them up on this program. The rumors go back to Kristi Noem's time in Congress. People have wondered for years why she could be with her husband and so blatantly be having an affair or seem to be having an affair with Corey Lewandowski. There's a story today about Kristi Noem's husband's predilections and deviancies. He is a private person. His wife is in the public eye. He has chosen to not be in the public eye. And I am not going to engage in the pile-on of a troubled person like a lot of people are doing today. Do need some help. And that is a troubled family, across the board troubled family. Lewandowski has a family, Noam has a family, and it's a mess. And it's one of those things where I think people like that probably should not be in the public eye, and perhaps the public eye is a way to escape issues. But I will just leave that there. These people need prayer, not the media spotlight. Incogni wants to get you out of the spotlight online. Incogni is spelled I-N-C-O-G-N-I, I-N-C-O-G-N-I, Incogni. What Incogni does is it goes online and it finds all of the websites selling your information. In some cases, the medicine you're on. In some cases, your consumer purchases. In some cases, just your identity and that of your family. It's all available online for sale, and the data brokers sell it to anybody, including criminals. That's why you get the spam calls, the spam emails, the telemarketer calls, the data broker selling your stuff online. And Incogni sends them takedown notices and then follows up persistently to make sure they've taken down your information. You go to incogni.com/Erick, I-N-C-O-G-N-I, incogni.com/ERICK. You'll get 60% off. They have already taken my information off 324 websites with more to come. It is harder and harder to find me online thanks to Incogni. It used to be very easy. Now it's not. Incogni makes it easy for you to become more anonymous online and minimize the telemarketers, the spammers, and the scammers. Incogni.com/Erick is where you need to go. If they can't find you online, they can't harass you in the real world. So go to incogni.com/Erick, save 60%. I use them. You should too. Incogni.com/Erick.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
All
app.
the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Leaders in 5 metro Atlanta counties are urging Governor Kemp to veto a bill that would make most of their elections nonpartisan.
Cobb County District Attorney Sonia Allen is one of the elected officials who will be impacted if Governor Kemp signs the legislation, and she's vowing to join any potential legal challenge if he does.
This bill is not constitutionally sound. It violates the Constitution. Any amendment to the Constitution should be done through the voters, the people's will, and a constitutional amendment that lays it all out.
Supporters say the measure takes politics out of local elections. At the state capitol, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Your weather for today, partly cloudy, an isolated pop-up shower or storm is possible. Afternoon highs 81, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A judge is hearing testimony today on behalf of Michael Chappell, convicted of murdering a 53-year-old grandmother when he was a Gwinnett County police officer in the early 90s. Now, 2 forensic experts say that blood evidence could show that Imogene Thompson was shot outside her car, not inside, as the state says, raising doubt about who killed her. A lawyer for the state points out neither expert personally examined the crime scene or the victim's body. Chappell is seeking a new trial. The conflict in the Middle East is pushing jet fuel extremely high, and that cost is being passed on to the flying public, as we hear now from Alex Stone.
Jet fuel prices have doubled since the beginning of the year, according to the U.S. Jet Fuel Index. The average price on Monday was $4.62 a gallon. That's the highest jet fuel has been since the war in Iran began. On February 27th, the price was at $2.50 a gallon. As a result, United says ticket prices are rising. United could see an $11 billion increase in its fuel costs this year because of current prices. JetBlue announcing it is increasing checked bag fees to offset the higher fuel costs. And American and Delta say already the fuel price surge has cost them each about $400 million since the start of the war.
Be sure and stay with us for continuing live team coverage of the conflict in the Middle East right here on 95.5 WSB and on the WSB radio app. Well, the Army air crew that flew military helicopters near Kid Rock's Nashville estate has been suspended. This comes after a now viral video shows the famed musician saluting one of the helicopters that hovered near his home's pool. The helicopter flew from Fort Campbell, Kentucky to the Nashville area. Kid Rock's estate, which has also been called the Southern White House, is located about 50 miles from Fort Campbell on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow is currently up 911 at 46,127, so the Dow's up more than 2%. The NASDAQ is up more than 3%, and the S&P is up almost 2.5%. It's 102.
Some things get better with age, but not your home siding and windows. If your house is showing its age and needs a facelift, it's only going to get worse. New siding and windows are the perfect fix. Dave Baker here for my siding and window experts, Nelson Exteriors. With Nelson Exteriors, you choose the window that's right for your home and budget from many top-rated manufacturers like Anderson and MI. And Nelson is a licensed and insured James Hardy Elite Preferred Siding contractor. For unmatched quality and craftsmanship, Google Nelson Exteriors.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call 404-383-4419. That's 404-383-4419 to claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now. 404-383-4419.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. Many retailers use a computer program to tell you which mattress to buy after answering a few questions. That's not how finding the right mattress works. At OMF, our associates take the time to understand your specific needs. They'll guide you through our showroom, explain the differences between models, and help you select the right mattress. No computers, no gimmicks, just personal attention and quality mattresses built locally. Visit any showroom and experience the OMF difference for yourself.
The Guaranteed Offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. You'll save time and make the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
It's 105. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Long-standing travel advisory still in place. Sabrina West Side Perimeter, 2 right lanes blocked, 285 south past Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 9. Delays back to South Cobb Drive. You can head through downtown as an alternate. It's got 20 eastbound on the brake lights from Riverside Parkway and I-75 north into Cobb County. Some scattered brake lights. Not too bad, though, between Marietta and Kennesaw. From the TrustDale.com Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today with an isolated rain shower possible. High 81, lows tonight in the low 60s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover. Temperatures still climbing to a high around 85. A few pop-up storms for tomorrow afternoon. Partly cloudy and staying warm on Thursday.
It is 76 degrees right now in Canton. Villa Rica has 76 degrees, and in Winder it is 77. We'll have more news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
America, welcome. It is Erick Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. Someone just posted a picture of the price lists at the Masters. I'll be there next Friday with my son, who I hope will be able to go. He's got to take 3 wisdom teeth out. Look at that, the pimento cheese, the egg salad. This is for the women's amateur right now. Masters Club. I can't wait to go to Augusta next week. No one ever says I can't wait to go to Augusta, except during the Masters. I like Augusta. I've got great friends over there. All right, we have to move on. I will take your phone calls here. Be patient with me, 877-973-7425. If you see live streams of my show from my main studio, now behind me are 4 books. They're out of focus. They're the books I have written over time. There's only one I really liked, Before You Wake. If you ever want to read one of my books, the last chapter is actually some of my favorite recipes, my kids' favorite recipes. It's the book that I really enjoyed writing. I wrote it without any help. It was very personal to me. But another book I wrote, my buddy Bill Blankshane helped me write it, was called You Will Be Made to Care. I coined a phrase when I was the editor of Red State back in 2010 or so, I guess, when the Supreme Court gay marriage decision came about. And there was a commenter on the website who said, I just simply don't care about this issue. I don't care if 2 dudes want to get married. I don't care about it. It doesn't affect me. I wish you'd stop writing about it. And I replied, you will be made to care. You may not care, but you'll be forced to have an opinion on it. The left will not allow you to sit on the sidelines. They will not allow you to be silent. They will make you take a stand, and you will either be made to care or you will be made to be silent. You will be made to care. You will be forced to take a position, whether you want to take a position or not. And if you take the wrong position, you will be punished for that position. The things of the world hate the things of God. In the very first chapter of the Bible, God made marriage between man and a woman and created us male and female. We don't get to change a paradigm created by God. The word in the very first chapter of the Bible is bara. It is a divine creation, created it wholly out of nothing. He created mankind. Bara, we don't do that. When the Bible talks about us building or creating stuff, it's a completely different word. Only God gets to do it with the word bara. It is a divine creation, and he bara'd us, made us male and female, and he put us together in union. And we on the world want to change these things into our own image and twist those things. And gay marriage is the law of the land. We're not putting the genie back in the bottle. Evangelicals lost, but people said it wouldn't affect them. People said it wouldn't affect you. People said it wouldn't affect me. And ever since, people have been losing their jobs if they don't want to accommodate it. People have been punished if they don't want to respect the institution of marriage changed by judges, not by people. My position all along was always, I'm a Christian. I believe God made us male and female, and he made marriage an institution. But we as a society, if we decide we're smarter than God and want to change it, it should be changed over time through the natural processes of the evolution of this country. And we had a lot of people voting to keep marriage between man and a woman, but Anthony Kennedy led a 5-4 Supreme Court majority to change it to marriage is because you feel good and whatever. We lost the fight. We're not going to put the genie back in the bottle. But I would note the extraordinary number of Americans over the years who have been punished for saying they disagree with that, for voicing traditional concerns. Comes now Jaden Ivey of the Chicago Bulls until yesterday. Jaden Ivey got upset. He said, quote, they proclaim Pride Month in the NBA. They show it to the world. They say, come on, join us for Pride Month to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it on billboards. They proclaim it in the streets, unrighteousness. He has now been fired by the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls are now confirming it. I said nothing yesterday. I said nothing. I wanted to see how this played out. There have been concerns about his mental health. Now it turns out today we have a fuller picture of this. The concerns about his mental health are because Jaden Ivey converted to Christianity a little while ago and has been openly talking about and professing his faith since he did that. And the Chicago Bulls decided that actually he's probably suffering from mental health issues by embracing Christianity and proclaiming his faith and being opposed to having to celebrate Pride Month, forced by his team and league to celebrate Pride Month. Sports commentators are coming out of the woodwork saying, I think he's got mental illness. That's what it is, mental illness. Maybe he does. I would remind the Christians listening now, you were all very quick to embrace Kanye West in his conversion to Christianity and sing his Chick-fil-A song, and then it turned out he's bipolar and got issues. And I don't know about the authenticity of his conversion, though I do know several people who were involved with it and say it was authentic, but he is battling mental health issues. But I find it very notable that the NBA and the Chicago Bulls are being very matter-of-fact today that, yep, they tossed him because he's not down with Pride Month. We have a whole month to celebrate Pride. Have you noticed how it is liturgical now? It is the calendar historically, going back to the rise of Christianity in the Roman Empire, arranged itself around the Christian liturgy. You had the holy season of Lent into the holy week of Easter. Then you had Christmas. You've had Epiphany. You've had all these sorts of holy days. And over time, secular society moved beyond them. The Catholic Church, largely more so than the Protestant churches, still maintain them. And now what secularism has done is they have embraced a litany of days around pride and gay rights. You have Trans Awareness Month, Trans Awareness Week, Coming Out National Coming Out Day, National Coming Out Week. You've got Pride Month. You've got Pride Week. You've got Black Pride Week. You've got Trans Pride Week. You've got all of these different weeks around the year. Remember last year when Trans Awareness Day fell on the same day as Easter, and the Biden administration made a bigger deal about Trans Awareness Day than they actually did Easter. This is where we are as a fallen secular society. And people have been punished now for these things. Coach Melissa Beatty Smooze spoke up for her players at San Jose State University. She had people threatening her. Someone shot at her in her kitchen. She was told it was mental illness and she should get psychiatric help for speaking up against putting boys in girls sports. She was made to care. Dane Ortland is a pastor in Illinois. He has not spoken loudly about these issues publicly. He has ministered to his flock in a traditional conservative Christian way. But he has put up this tweet. I am a lifelong fanatical Bulls fan, been to many games, bought your merch, supported loyally through ups and downs until today. My greatest loyalty, as is Jaden Ivey's, is to Jesus Christ and truth, and I'm grateful to live in a nation that protects freedom of religion and freedom of speech. Your violation of the First Amendment, and even more problematically, your ideologically selective while culturally amenable canceling of a man who did nothing more than hold to his convictions, is a tragic capitulation to the spirit of the age. I urge you to do the right thing and publicly apologize to Jaden, acknowledging the error of censoring a man for believing what Scripture says and what Jesus taught. What's more is when you think about the NBA generally. Philip put this together in the show notes and put this together for me to be mindful of on the show today, the level of outrage over this guy from the NBA and how the NBA turned a blind eye, for example, to LeBron James putting up a picture of a police officer who had saved a black woman but was presumed to have harmed her, and he said, "You're next." Clearly threatening to target this guy. He got a pass. Dennis Rodman on the Chicago Bulls. While playing for the Bulls during their second three-peat era, Rodman was involved in a high-profile incident during a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. After a rebound, he stormed to the sideline, deliberately kicked courtside photographer Eugene Amos in the groin. Amos was taken away on a stretcher. The NBA suspended him for 11 games and fined him $25,000 and settled a lawsuit with Amos for $200,000. Despite the very public nature of the event and Rodman's already colorful off-court reputation, the Bulls kept him on the roster. Bobby Portis in 2017, right before the season opener, Porter got into a physical fight with teammate Nikola Mirotic during practice. Portis punched Mirotic in the face, causing facial fractures, a concussion, and hospitalization. The Bulls suspended Portis for the first 8 games of the season, but otherwise kept him on the team. Mirotic reportedly had a me or him ultimatum, and the organization sided with Portis, and the rest of the locker room backed him. Joakim Noah. Early in his Bulls career, in 2008, Noah was arrested in Gainesville, Florida on charges of marijuana possession and having an open container of alcohol. He was spotted on a sidewalk with a plastic cup. Police found marijuana during the search. He accepted a deferred prosecution agreement, 6 months probation, a $200 fine, and charges were eventually dropped. There was a public story. The Bulls did not release him, and the Bulls did not trade him. But you say you're not down with Pride Month, and they will drop you from the roster because it is the spirit of the age. It's the spirit of the age. You will be made to care, friends. You will not be allowed to live a comfortable life in this country if you do not voice the sexual preferences of the world around you. You will be made to care. You will be made to care, and you will be forced to support the spirit of the age, or there will be consequences. But to those of you who are people of faith, I will tell you, you can live your best life now, and it'll be the best life you ever have in eternity. You will not live a good life. My favorite psalm. My favorite psalms is Psalm 73. In Psalm 73, Asaph looks around at the wealthy and the scoffers, the people who mock God. And he says, Lord, how is this right and fair? The people who love you are scorned. We suffer derision. We are mocked. We are treated poorly by the world around us, and the people who hate you seem to have a great life. They seem to be doing well. They're fat and happy. How is it, Lord, that the people who hate you prosper and the people who love you are punished? And Asaph wrote, he prayed about it, and he went into the temple, and he realized it was an act of mercy. The scoffers, the mockers, and the people who hate God, this is the best in all eternity they will have it. From the moment they die to the end of the age of eternity, they will live a terrible life separated from God. Those of you like Jaden Ivey who have embraced the Lord in faith and stand for your convictions, this is the worst you're ever going to have it. However bad you have it today, the day after you step into eternity, every day thereafter is going to be better. The Chicago Bulls, the owners, and those who back their decision, they're going to have a great life probably. The wicked prosper until the final day, and it's all downhill for them. What you see now, the wicked prospering, it's an act of mercy. Jaden Ivey's going to be fine. He will be fine. The number of athletes who have spoken up on his behalf has been encouraging in the last 24 hours. A number of them have come out and spoken in support of him. He'll be fine, and he'll be rewarded. And on the last day, well, it'll be too late for many who realize they were actually the ones on the wrong side of history.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen Listen to see what he's gonna say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Trustdale.com Traffic Center. We cleared up that crash. 285 southbound, the outer loop, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 9. All lanes are back open. The delay starting to recover from South Cobb Drive. I-20 eastbound, that's still stacked up on the west side from Riverside Parkway over to 285. DOT also says there's a stall in the center lane between Fulton Industrial and 285, adding to those delays. Traffic brought to you by visitmyrtlebeach.com. Get ready for takeoff. Turn vacation mode on. You can fly nonstop from Atlanta to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Visit myrtlebeach.com. Alex Williams, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, I'm Chris Chandler. Don't be an April Fool. Join us Wednesday starting at 5 a.m. for Atlanta's Morning News. We're covering the countdown with just hours to go till Americans blast off for the moon, plus Triple Team Traffic back here on Earth on WSB.
Dave Baker here with Matt Breda from Breda Pest Management. Matt, lots of companies brag about being local. Why does it matter that Breda's still family-owned and operated locally for over 50 years?
Our name is on the line. It's about integrity and doing the right thing for our community, protecting our neighbors, not just the bottom line. That's the commitment the Breda family stands behind. Our approach is precise and low impact to keep families and pets safe and healthy. The only ones that need to worry are the bugs and critters.
And what about your call center?
Every single Breda employee lives right here in Georgia. Even the folks that answer the phone in the middle of the night. We're your friends and neighbors, so you'll get the highest level of customer service, and you're going to feel like part of the Breda family.
So it's like the song says, be a Breda, and don't be afraid of Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. See them on the web at bredapest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Men, if you're suffering from ED or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Priority Men's Medical Center restores men's love lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Priority Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Priority Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. Take control of your love life. Call now. 404-885-8885.
If you're planning to sell your home, you have a choice. You can do it the traditional way, wait for offers, juggle showings, hope the timing works out, and cross your fingers that you don't end up settling for less. Or you can choose Orchard. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Orchard gives you cash up front from your current home so you can buy your next one first. That means no rushing to sell, no temporary moves, and no trying to perfectly time two major transactions. You move into your new home on your schedule. Then Orchard prepares and markets your old home the right way, handling repairs, upgrades, staging, and professional marketing to help it sell for top dollar. And when it does sell, you get that money too. It's a smarter process that gives you flexibility, confidence, and the chance to get the most from your home sale. Thousands of homeowners are already choosing Orchard to make their moves simpler and more successful. Find out what your home is worth today with a free valuation at Orchard.com.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications that top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Missed part of today's show? Catch it again in full with the Erick Erickson Show 24/7 live stream. Available at erickerickson.com. Stream enabled for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. Let's contrast the NBA to the NHL. The NHL is it's a fantastic men of honor, put it that way. Radko Gudas went out onto the ice. What is he? He's with is he with the Ducks or he injured a player so badly the player is out of the season, and then he himself got injured. And he showed up on the ice nonetheless injured so that the other team could then beat the heck out of him. And he went off the ice not well. So essentially what happened is a hockey player, Radko Gudas, injured another player badly. He hit a guy named Austin Matthews, who is now out for the season probably. And the way it works in hockey is someone is going to pay back your team for the violence you have inflicted. And he got injured. He is the captain of the Ducks. And instead of having another one of his players get the snot kicked out of them for what they did, he injured, went on the ice to withstand the blows of the Maple Leafs, and himself is now injured. He did the right thing. Men of character in the NHL. Unlike in the NBA, where, remember, they've defended the brutality of the communist regime in China in the NBA because they make money off China. Now, let me tell you how you can make some money with sound investment and get ahead of the game, and the insights to keep you ahead of everybody else is going to SwissAmerica.com/Erick. Fill out the form there. Get their Secret War on Cash report at SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. But also subscribe to their podcast, Swiss America Trading on YouTube. You get all the links at SwissAmerica.com/Erick. Click on the News and Views tab. If you do, you can be ahead of the game. You can understand disruptions in the world economy, commodity pricing, precious metals. You can even get a precious metal IRA. You can buy gold coins from Swiss America. I need to put them on Instagram. I mentioned that yesterday. I got some great gold coins from Swiss America, and the value of these coins has surged since I bought them because of gold prices. Go to SwissAmerica.com/Erick today. If you're interested in buying gold coins or gold bars, you can do that. You can put them in a precious metal IRA. You can find out the news of the day. Get ahead of the game on the news affecting markets with Swiss America's insights. Go to SwissAmerica.com/Erick. At least get the free report, The Secret War on Cash. SwissAmerica.com/ERICK.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. The Supreme Court today has ruled on a major case on conversion therapy after a lawsuit from a Christian counselor in Colorado. Legal correspondent Jan Crawford.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is the lone dissenter, which I think is not surprising. She kind of tipped her hand at those oral arguments back in October that she thought that states could regulate this kind of speech as medical treatment, as conduct, that it didn't amount to kind of any kind of free speech issue. What this means is a big victory for this Colorado Springs therapist and how the state was kind of seeking to apply the law that affected her counseling practice.
Now the court ruled 8-1 today. Your weather? Partly cloudy, an isolated pop-up shower storm possible, highs 81. TSA officers starting to see a paycheck today after more than 40 days without one because of the partial government shutdown. President of the American Federation of Government Employees, Antoinette Wade, says they're being put in the middle of political games and it's not sustainable.
We're grateful. We're grateful for money coming in. That's a good thing. But, you know, we're still in a hardship. We're not out of the woods yet.
The lines at TSA have been much shorter now. Marietta City school employees will be getting a bonus. The school board voting unanimously to extend Governor Kemp's one-time $2,000 full-time educator bonus for certified educators and select support staff The board approved the bonus. It'll be going to those teachers and others April 2nd ahead of spring break. The number of younger women who are having heart attacks is on the rise. Medical contributor Celine Gounder has more.
If you're old enough to get pregnant, you are old enough to have heart disease as a woman. So a lot of people are getting this wrong. They think it's older men who are at high risk for heart attacks. It's not just older men.
And so there's new guidance out today from the American Heart Association on how to eat heart healthy. And that does include a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and plant-based proteins. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow currently up more than 2%. NASDAQ's up almost 3.5%. And the S&P's up almost 2.5%. It's 132.
Our weather is so unpredictable. Dry for days, then we get drenched with rain and storms. Then we go from soaking wet to arid dry, extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all that abuse. Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Admit it, you have no idea how your roof is doing, right? It's okay. Let me help. There are signs you can look for. Inside your house, look for wet spots, water streaks, or dripping water on the ceiling, drywall, chimney area, or up in the attic. If that wet spot is now a dry stain, it's still a problem. Outside your home, check your roof for streaks and stains, loss of color or granules in your downspouts, gutters, or scattered on the ground. If you find any of these things, think of Findlay first. They're the perfect match for any roofing issues. They are the extra effort experts that have installed over 65,000 roofs locally. Plus, Findlay offers 0% financing. Get started with a free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com.
This is Greg Truzinski of the Original Mattress Factory. OMF is kind of a unicorn in the mattress business. We build every mattress ourselves, right here in town, with quality materials that last. Then, we sell them directly to you, no middleman marking up the price. The result? Better quality mattresses for less money. That combination shouldn't exist, but it does. And you can see it for yourself by stopping by any of our locations around town. Or check us out at originalmattress.com.
Atlanta homeowners, your grades are in. Hi, I'm Deborah Morton of the Agency Atlanta, host of Inside Georgia Real Estate right here on 95.5 WSB. Each Saturday, my show covers Atlanta's residential housing market and all things real estate. I've been thrilled that so many WSB listeners have taken me up on my team's offer of a complimentary home report card. This is a customized analysis on your home, a secret weapon to get more when the time comes to sell. Know your home's strengths and weaknesses, learn how it stacks up against your competition, and the best time to sell. When it's time to move, you'll know how to net more money. Spring selling season has already started, so if you're thinking about putting your home on the market, let me send you the Agency Atlanta's free home report card. It's invaluable information, it's free, and there are no strings attached. Go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com today to connect with us at the Agency Atlanta. That's InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Still jammed up on that West Freeway, Sabrina, I-20 eastbound from Riverside Parkway over to 285, where there's been trouble in the center lane. Some brake lights in the Midtown on 75 and 85 south, both trying to make your way past the Atlantic Station. And 75 north on the south side, that's chock full of volume out of Locust Grove up through McDonough. Delays improving past Jonesboro Road. Exit 221 from the TrustDale.com Traffic Center. Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies today, high 81, lows tonight in the low 60s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms, high 85. Partly cloudy skies on Thursday with highs in the mid-80s.
We'll have more news at 2 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, welcome. It is Erick Erickson here, 877-973-7425. Let us go to the phones. Let's go to Junior calling from Palm Beach. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Erickson. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for being here. What's going on?
So with respect to your characterization that people don't like Trump, but they fear and loathe the Democrats, and you supported this opinion with some data, and you referenced data from 2007 to 2009, and you put a whole bunch of demographic groups, very, very articulate in your disclosure of their opinions. And then you obviously pulled some data from 23 to 25. The problem is this sort of representation omits a major asterisk and caveat to your data. In 07 through 09, you had the Obama phenomenon, which attracted a tremendous amount of support from minority voters, women voters. He was the first black, truly option for a candidate. He was charismatic. He was educated. He's a sharp guy. He's good looking. He had all these facets to him that clearly moved the needle. In 23 to 25, you had a president, Biden, who was effectively asleep. I mean, they call him Sleepy Joe, but he was really asleep. And now you're comparing those sentiments to present data in terms of the public opinion, which is fluid, constantly in politics. It's fluid, to how people feel about Trump today. And the reason they don't like Trump today is because in 2025, they loved him because he was running on a promise, or prior to 2025, he was running on a promise to expose Epstein, no new foreign wars, no regime change. And so, like, the whole thing is basically, in my opinion, invalid.
Well, so now just to keep
really
in
what I have
mind
to say
here,
about that data.
well, listen, well articulated. Here is why I would disagree with you on this: is it's not my data; it is YouGov's data. The pollster YouGov. It is their comprehensive polling of the American public. And the reason they chose 2007, 2009, you're absolutely right. It showed a massive shift towards the Democratic Party by Barack Obama. Barack Obama brought in college-educated voters. Barack Obama poured in, interestingly enough, college-educated white men. Barack Obama really was not able to move them into the Democratic Party. The reason that YouGov, not Erick Erickson, chose 2023 to 2025 is because that shift into the Democratic Party, Junior, that Barack Obama, you accurately put your finger on, is the reason it happened. That shift to the Democratic Party by all of these demographics maintained itself. It's why Donald Trump lost the popular vote in 2016 and why he lost in 2020 wasn't, contrary to what his supporters say, fraud. It was that the Democratic Party was able to hold on to this idea of a multicultural, progressive, forward-looking, future-looking party of youth that Barack Obama symbolized. And then in 2023, it all started going the other way. That's the whole purpose of the data. It's not a false comparison to start it with Obama and then move it to 2023. It's to show that the Democratic Party had been able to maintain that coalition until 2023, and the coalition that Barack Obama built is now collapsing, and the reason for the collapse is because of the far-left progressive drift of the Democratic Party since Barack Obama. Barack Obama was a progressive, but Barack Obama never tried to force boys into girls' sports. Barack Obama was a progressive, but he never opened the border and flooded the country with illegal aliens. Barack Obama was a progressive, but ICE actually carried out deportations and brought CNN along for the ride to cover the deportations. The collapse of the Democratic Party support became significant in 2023 because of the massive shift away from some policies the public perceived as reasonable. That's why YouGov put the data there. That's why it's not me. This is not Erick Erickson's data. This is YouGov's data. And it's them showing the shift. And that gets me to Pete Hegseth. Yes, there is an issue here related to Pete Hegseth. So if you haven't seen, I'm actually going to be on Chris Starwalt's show on is it News Nation this Sunday. We pre-recorded it today for Easter. And Chris was asking me about Pete Hegseth and his prayer. If you haven't heard, Pete Hegseth prayed publicly for the soldiers, essentially to exterminate evil, to be ruthlessly violent against evil. And progressives are upset with Pete Hegseth invoking prayer. In fact, let me give you this is commentary from a Washington Post reporter on MS Now talking about Pete Hegseth's open display of his Christian faith and praying for the soldiers. and allowing prayer in the Pentagon, which, by the way, the Pentagon has allowed Catholic masses to be held going back to the Clinton administration in the Pentagon. Hegseth is now allowing an evangelical prayer service on Sunday, and suddenly they're all outraged about it.
Yeah, so Secretary Hegseth is doing something we were told was unprecedented, which is he holds these monthly, strictly evangelical, conservative Christian services inside the Pentagon. And he's also, per the some of the quotes that you offered on social media, at press conferences, often invoking Jesus Christ and talking, in particular, since the conflict with Iran began, talking about that conflict in very specific kind of spiritual ways in which he talks about invoking, Jesus Christ in that context. So what we were told was that this is a real break from basically modern history, where not that people didn't, there are chaplains all through the military, not that people didn't talk about sort of civil religion, God, et cetera, something higher power, that you should tap into, that kind of thing. But that there was a real concerted effort made for decades and decades and decades to not use divisive language inside the military and inside the Pentagon, whether that's because of morale, force cohesion, and also sort of, especially when you have these conflicts with Muslim majority nations, where you're essentially saying, you can do anything you want because God is not on their side. God is on our side.
You got that? We've spent a lot of time in this country giving lip service to God, but how dare he invoke the name of Jesus? Carolyn Leavitt, an evangelical Christian, press secretary of the White House, responded to all of these wild allegations and attacks on Pete Hegseth's display of faith.
Since you mentioned Easter and prayers, I wanted to ask you about something the Pope said yesterday. So Pope Leo said yesterday, and I quote him, "God does not listen to the prayer of those who wage war." Can you comment on that?
I think our nation was a nation founded 250 years ago almost on Judeo-Christian values, and we've seen presidents, we've seen the leaders of the Department of War, and we've seen our troops go to prayer during the most turbulent times in our nation's history. And I don't think there's anything wrong with our military leaders or with the president calling on the American people to pray for our service members and those who are serving our country overseas. In fact, I think it's a very noble thing to do. And if you talk to many service members, they will tell you they appreciate the prayers and support from the Commander-in-Chief and from his cabinet.
We suddenly have members of the press and Democratic Party outraged about the Secretary of Defense offering a prayer in Jesus' name. Do you know George Washington did that? Franklin Roosevelt did that. The left, you got to remember, has no sense of history. The left doesn't know the history of this country. They don't respect the history of this country. They think the founding of this country was bad. They don't care that the precedent was set with George Washington. They are literally condemning the Secretary of Defense for prayer to Jesus, who is the God of all creation. 3 billion people on planet Earth this Sunday will celebrate the resurrection of a carpenter from Nazareth. 3 billion people. The largest religion on planet Earth. More people have believed in the resurrection of Christ in the history of this planet than anything else. It's dominant religion. Take all the people who've come before us and all the people who have professed faith. Christianity has been a dominant idea. It fundamentally changed Western civilization. Do you know why we have hospitals? Because of Christians. Do you know why we have women's rights? Because of Christians. Do you know why we have care for children? Because of Christians. I'm not making this stuff up. Women's rights came from a movement of Christians in the Middle Ages into the 17th, 18th, and 19th century, where women, by being created in God's image just as men were presumed to have some value that non-Christian religions and secular society did not give to them. Prior to the rise of Christians trying to help the wounded and the ill. We did not have hospitals. We had wards for people to go be piled into to let them die. Christians believed they might try to save lives, and the idea spread around the world from Christian missionaries. Christians started adoption centers so that people could adopt the neglected children of the world that others had cast aside and did not want. Christians started adoption centers. Christians started hospitals. Christians were the original feminists. Christianity has improved the world, and now Western secular society believes that if the Secretary of Defense prays in the name of Jesus for the destruction of the enemies who want the Christians and everyone else dead, that that's a bad thing when it's actually a very good thing. We should be encouraged that we have a president who has surrounded himself with those who take their faith as seriously as Pete Hegseth does. And I may not always agree with Pete Hegseth, and I'm perfectly happy to criticize him on stuff, but he's a changed man because of his faith. Pete Hegseth is a different man from what he was before he discovered his faith. And if you know anything about his story, the way he lived his life before he became a man of faith, he's changed. It was nice to see the president the other day release a letter from Franklin Graham explaining the gospel message to the president on Palm Sunday, because I think the president's actually surrounded by a bunch of faith leaders in the White House who really don't take their faith that seriously and who have not tried to save the soul of the president. So I'm glad to a degree that these people are taking matters seriously. And Franklin Graham is trying to save the soul of the president. But the media is hostile to all of it. We are in Holy Week. And Holy Week is a time that Christians believe that Jesus of Nazareth was executed, killed, buried, and rose again from the dead. And every Holy Week, the National Press Corps runs stories about how it's a fable. It didn't happen. It's a mythology. The Christians really weren't persecuted like they say they were. It was no big deal. Even now in Nigeria, Christians are being slaughtered wholesale. On Palm Sunday, hundreds of Christians were murdered, attacked for their faith. And do you know what the New York Times says? Well, it really wasn't persecution. It was just a skirmish in an overwhelmingly Christian town. Why was it a skirmish happening in an overwhelmingly Christian town? Because Islamic radicals invaded and murdered all the Christians. And the New York Times doesn't want you to believe the Christian persecution happening before your eyes, because the things of the world hate the things of God. And the secular left and the Islamic radicals, both things of the world, can be aligned against the things of God. And the New York Times would have you believe the persecution happening before your very eyes is not happening. The NBA will persecute the Christians, and the secular left media will attack the Secretary of Defense for praying in Jesus' name, because, oh, God forbid, in the past, they didn't really mean it. Did you hear what the Washington Post reporter was saying? That ultimately is what it boils down to, is, well, in the past, they didn't really mean it, and now it's a problem, because the Secretary of Defense actually means to pray in the name of Jesus Christ for the safety and support of the soldiers abroad. How dare he really believe it? And that's the problem. The left really hates it that you and I actually believe this stuff, because they don't even believe that the Ayatollah believes in what he actually believes. They cannot comprehend sincere faith, whether for or against the things of God. They just can't do it. They believe in nothing, so they believe in everything.
When the truth seems hazy, Erick will clear the way. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
150 Trustdale.com traffic center still very slow on the West Freeway 20 eastbound from Riverside Parkway passing Fulton Industrial Boulevard. The earlier trouble at 285 should be out of the travel lane, so hopefully those delays will start to thin out, and just watch them clear the left lane construction into DeKalb. Everything back open there 20 eastbound at Pinolda Road exit 71. Traffic brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Every now and then you find a deal where you get more and pay less. Now that's a good deal. That's Straight Talk Wireless on Verizon's 5G network. Find it exclusively at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Alex Williams, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
Tough questions.
What are the rules around a hot air balloon?
Intriguing insights.
If things didn't happen the way in my brain they were supposed to happen within the time period that my brain told me they were supposed to happen.
And a unique perspective.
You're getting tea. Where do you want it to go?
Eric Von Hassler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Belinda Skelton here, and I'm with Troy Pensa. Took me up on my free offer of a heart scan from Virtual Imaging and has an incredible story to tell.
I had actually signed up for an Ironman triathlon. As a proactive measure, I went to Virtual Imaging to get my heart scan done. Turns out that my score was a little higher than anticipated. Luckily, my primary care physician took serious notice of it, referred me to a cardiologist. I had my stress test and found out I had 3 blockages.
You weren't having any symptoms.
As an athlete and somebody who's been active my entire life, I never thought that I would even have a remote blockage, but turns out that it's hereditary.
You didn't even experience any chest pain?
None whatsoever.
Wow, that's the scary part. What are you waiting for? Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan with few minimum requirements. If not for yourself, then do it for a loved one. Call now at 770-678-SCAN or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com. 770-678-SCAN.
It's a small change, but a meaningful one. North Georgia Replacement Windows is now NG Windows.
It's Jonathan and Ted. For over 2 decades, our website has been ngwindows.com. Now our name is the same.
Shorter name, same windows. Energy efficient, durable, 8 times stronger than vinyl.
Experience the Infinity by Marvin fiberglass difference in your home or our Alpharetta showroom.
Infinity by Marvin from NG Windows, yeah!
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. You'll save time and make the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can eliminate all the hassle, sell your home for top dollar, and move when you're ready. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Greetings and welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. Let's go to Border Jacks Beach, Florida. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Eric. How's it going, sir?
Good. What's going on?
You were discussing Hicksman's services in the Pentagon, and I didn't hear who was saying that, but they were actually giving him grief about preaching Christ there. While the people who nuked the World Trade Center are actually in charge of the city now. So how do those two things? How are they not the same?
Great point. Yeah, the mayor of New York has literally invited people into Gracie Mansion, the mayor's house, for Islamic prayers during Ramadan. And you would think that there would be press outrage, but they're only outraged about the Christians. They're never outraged about the Muslims. Now, we all know what's going on here. This reminds me of the British comedian Jimmy Carr. I've mentioned this before. He told a series of very awkward jokes about Christians and about Mary and Joseph, and the crowd did not find them very funny. and he asked the crowd if they wanted to hear his Muslim jokes, and the crowd went wild, and he says, no. All those jokes, they would blow up. He pointed out, if he's not crazy enough to tell jokes about the Muslims, he'd lose his head. What are you Christians going to do? Forgive me? That's what he said. It goes back to Charlie Hebdo. Remember, they drew the Prophet Muhammad and lost their lives. Islamic radicals stormed into the building and chopped them all to pieces. The press is allied with the Islamists because they hope that they'll be the last ones standing. That the Islamic radicals will kill all the Christians. Please, we don't believe that nonsense. We'll respect you. What they don't realize is we see this perfectly in the story of Iran. The Iranian progressives and the Iranian Islamic radicals allied together to drive out of the country the Jews, the Christians, and the supporters of the Shah. And the moment they won, the Islamic radicals turned the guns on the progressives of Iran. They will not accommodate progressives. They will use progressives as a means to an end. It's why you can have the Islamic radical running for the Senate as a left-wing progressive Democrat and support gay rights and trans rights and all of that, because the Muslims know the guy doesn't really believe it. He's just having means to acquire power. They'll turn on the left as quickly as they possibly can once they get the power. We're having a rude awakening here in this country now. Pay attention to what's happening. Now, also, pay attention to your hot water and your power bill. Our power bill went down when we got a Rinnai tankless water heater because we had electric water heaters in our house. We had 2 smaller ones that covered the whole house, and we got rid of them. We yanked the tanks and put in the tankless water heaters from Rinnai. Our power bill went down. We have the Rinnai water heater set up on a UPS backup. And it's just like one you'd get from Best Buy or something for your computer, and it flips the switch when the power goes out in the house, so we still have hot water. The whole thing continues to work, and so we're with hot water, whether the power is on or not, with our Rinnai tankless water heater. And our kids no longer fight over hot water. Everybody in the house can take showers and not run out of hot water. You can too. Go to TalkingTankless.com. Yank your tank. If you go to TalkingTankless.com, there's a little button you click. You can talk to a Rinnai professional about getting rid of your tanks and putting in a tankless water heater so you have hot water forever. We did it in our house, and it's been a game changer for our house. Nobody has to coordinate shower time anymore. We can all get up on Sunday. We can all take showers, and we never worry about taking cold showers in our house. TalkingTankless.com. Go to TalkingTankless.com today.
Tune in to Atlanta's Morning News.
Shooting in southwest Atlanta that sent a man to the hospital.
All your latest news, weather, and traffic.
Traffic red alert long running now along Georgia 400.
Atlanta's Morning News.
Reports the UN Security Council will also meet.
Tomorrow starting at 5. 95.5 WSB. How Atlanta starts its day.
Man's best friend. Loyal, trustworthy, dependable. Findlay Roofing is your roof's best friend. Loyal with a lifetime warranty, trustworthy with upfront pricing, and dependable with the highest quality work. FindlayRoofing.com.
Roof, roof. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. You'll save time and make the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
Soon it's 2 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. WSB's top local story brought to you by Bread Beckers. Leaders in 5 metro Atlanta counties impacted by a bill on Governor Kemp's desk now speak out at the state capitol today.
Supporters of the legislation say the measure, which makes most elected offices in 5 core metro counties nonpartisan, is an attempt to take politics out of local governments. But DeKalb County CEO Lorraine Cochran-Johnson isn't buying it.
If fairness and election integrity is truly the goal, why does this bill target 5 counties and not all 159 across the entire state of Georgia.
They are urging the governor to veto the bill and are promising legal challenges if the measure is signed. At the state capitol, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
It's 78 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards is forecasting partly cloudy skies today with chance of some pop-up showers or storms, highs in the low 80s. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Gwinnett County Police shut down some prolific porch pirates. Corporal Ryan Winderweedle says they got leads from Duluth and Norcross authorities about somebody in a blue Amazon delivery vest snatching packages.
We're able to identify and charge 2 suspects who are working together in these thefts.
Lance Vance and Pauli Mamaloma are facing charges, and police found a stash of stolen packages in the hotel room where they were living. Marietta School employees will have a little extra spending cash when they go on spring break next week.
Recently announced bonuses provide $2,000 for eligible full-time public school staff statewide, but Marietta School Board Chair Jaylene Hunter says they have some employees not covered by the state's funding.
Governor Kemp's investment in education is what makes a meaningful difference here, and we're greatly appreciative of that. We did have to dip a little bit into some of our own budget in order to cover all employees.
Today's unanimous approval of $945,000 covers the gap. Payments arrive Thursday ahead of next week's spring break. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
The man charged with killing podcaster Charlie Kirk is asking to delay May's preliminary hearing. His lawyers say they need 6 months to check out a new investigation that is shown in a summary report from the ATF, which indicates that the bullet found in the autopsy could not be connected to Tyler Robinson. They say they need the extra time to have experts analyze everything. The FBI is reportedly now doing more tests. The U.S. Supreme Court sends a challenge on conversion therapy, which aims to change a minor's sexual orientation or gender identity, back to a Colorado court. In an 8-1 decision, justices say a ban on the practice violates a Christian counselor's First Amendment right. WSB News Time 2:02. Live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
You know you want a luxurious deck, but you're feeling overwhelmed with so many options. It's enough to make your head spin. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors. Maybe you know exactly what your dream deck looks like. We can build that. If not, we offer design help and expert guidance to create a beautiful, high-quality deck that you'll enjoy every day. Decks done differently, decks done right, with exceptional customer service at a reasonable price. Get your free estimate. Google Nelson Exteriors.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the ones you love? With Kroger same-day pickup and delivery, it's easy to shop the same great prices and quality you'd find in store. We'll bring your groceries right to you in our refrigerated trucks, so you can spend time on what matters most. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
And now you can enjoy free delivery on orders of $50 or more with your digital coupon. Place your order today. Restrictions apply. See coupon for details. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Call Trajan today at 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Mega Warrior, Clay Fuller.
He's an incredible young guy. We want to vote for Clay. He's a total winner.
Clay Fuller will stand with President Trump and take the fight to the D.C. radicals screwing up this country. This April 7th, vote for Trump-endorsed Clay Fuller for Congress. Conservatives for American Excellence Incorporated paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. ConservativesForAmericanExcellence.com.
It's 2:05. Live team coverage of traffic and weather begins right now with Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, good afternoon. Veronica, already watching some of that early afternoon volume filling in the Midtown and downtown. Southbound from the 85-400 merge. Brake lights will stay with you on 75-85 south getting past Georgia Tech. And delays have greatly improved on that West Freeway on 20 eastbound leaving Riverside Parkway. Earlier trouble all gone near 285, but the right lanes do bunch up there from the I-20 East transition to I-285. From the TrustDale.com Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A mix of sun and clouds today with an isolated rain shower possible, high 81, lows tonight in the low 60s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, temperatures still climbing to a high around 85. A few pop-up storms for tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy and staying warm on Thursday.
78 degrees in Milton, 81 in Morrow, and 79 on Peachtree Street in Midtown Atlanta at 2:06. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. It's Erick Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, would be delighted to have you text Erick, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. You can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast. Get everything you need to stay on top of the program. Now, we've got to talk about the Russians for a moment. Every afternoon, after the show, cover all the headlines that broke towards the end of the show that I didn't have time to get to, and 4 things you need to know this afternoon. Separate podcasts, about 5-6 minutes. Yesterday, I noted that word came towards the end of yesterday's show that the Iranians were able to hit a number of American assets in Saudi Arabia because the Russians gave the Iranians the intelligence and satellite information to target the American assets. For reasons that I don't understand, and I really don't think it's blackmail or anything like that, the President of the United States has refused to recognize the Russians are not our friends. And I think what the reason is because there are people inside the Trump administration who have believed that they can bring the Russians back into the Western alliance. Bear with me here, and let me explain this briefly to you. After the fall of the Soviet Union, into the rise of the Bush administration, there began to be a group of people on the isolationist right who thought we could accommodate the Russian desire for territory and persuade them to turn to the West. If we allowed the Russian expansionist tendency to spread into East Bloc, former East Bloc nations in Europe again, that we could cede the Russians some territory, even if they didn't acquire it completely but took over governments, and that they would then become Western allies. They were convinced we needed the Russians to ally with us because if they didn't, they would ally with the Chinese, which they have now done. That thinking pervades a segment of the Defense Department and the Vice President's office. A number of those around J.D. Vance have bought into this idea. Even some of the President's direct advisors have really bought into the idea that the Russians could be part of the Western alliance. This idea is, like so many progressives have no sense of history, these people have no sense of history. It is staggering ignorance to think the Russians would be part of the Western alliance. The Russians have always wanted a Russian sphere of influence. And there was some just moronic thinking that still pervades portions of the right, that if you give the Russians their sphere of influence, they'll be with the West. And that's utterly nonsensical. The Russians want their own sphere of influence. They do not want to be a part of the Western alliance. They want to be able to play everybody off everybody while the Russians grow their sphere of influence. The Russians don't want to be our allies. The Russians rejected an alliance with the European powers during the time of Catherine the Great, after Peter the Great, And the Russian Soviets embraced that thinking. Catherine the Great was not from Russia. She went to Russia, and she embraced a Russian worldview, invaded Crimea and took it over, and established a Russian sphere of influence and go into World War I and the fall of the Tsar and the rise of the Soviets. And the Russian and then Soviet thinking was always their own sphere of influence, separate and apart from a Western alliance. But that view has pervaded the policy making and thinking inside this White House, and I think that, not some supposed P-tape or whatever, the left is always rumor-mongered about Donald Trump. I think that idea that they could become part of the Western alliance has pervaded the thinking of the intellectual elite within inside this White House to the peril of the United States. The Russians are not our friends. They do not want to be our friends. The Russians want a sphere of influence, and they want their own alliance structure, and that includes an alliance with the Iranians. Volodymyr Zelensky is pointing out that the Russians have been helping the Iranians, and he's a man who would know.
We know that if they make images once, they are preparing. If they make images the second time, it's like simulation. The third time, it means that 1-2 days they will attack. Do they help Iranians? Of course. How many percent? 100%.
But just so I'm clear what you were saying,
yeah.
You believe Russia is actively helping Iran target American forces in the Middle East right now?
I think that in Russian interest to help Iranians, and I know that they share information.
He knows they share information. Y'all, it's not just the Ukrainians who know the Russians are sharing information. It's our own intelligence have advised the president and the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense that the Russians are selling intelligence or sharing intelligence with the Iranians. The Iranians were able to successfully strike American military assets, including a number of planes of the United States with low-cost drones successfully. They have injured American service members in Saudi Arabia with some successful attacks, all because the Russians gave them intelligence to pinpoint their strikes. This isn't made up. This isn't fantasy. This isn't opinion. This is fact. And this president, Donald Trump, needs to understand the Russians are not our friends. The Ukrainians are. All of the people who, on the right, who have been singing the praises of Russia and trying to divide us from the Ukrainians, some of them, frankly, are bought off, I think, but a lot of them really did have this naive nonsense that the president could build an alliance with the Russians if we just coddled Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin has outlasted multiple U.S. presidents. He intends to outlast this president as well. If this president wants to get the better of Vladimir Putin, unlike his predecessors in office from George W. Bush all the way through Joe Biden, this president should recognize the Russians are trying to build a Russian sphere of influence, allying themselves with the Iranians and with the Chinese and with the North Koreans. And they tried the Venezuelans and the Cubans are faltering, and the Venezuelans are gone, and the Russians are desperate. Vladimir Putin has more and more dissension in the ranks. There are more and more rumors of military instability in Russia. There have been multiple senior leaders of the Russian military and political establishment who have accidentally fallen out of windows or drowned in bathtubs in the past few months. Putin is getting desperate to hold on to power. He's getting desperate to hold on to power because he poured his regime into a war in Ukraine he thought would be easily won, and it has not been won. The Ukrainians have proven themselves savvy, and the Ukrainians, by the way, are now helping the Saudis and the Emiratis and the Kuwaitis combat against Iranian drones. Think about that. The Ukrainians are in Saudi Arabia, they're in United Arab Emirates, and they're in Kuwait and Bahrain, by the way, and Qatar right now, helping those nations with strategic advisors. They've taken off the battlefield in Ukraine to help the Arab partners. A Jewish president of Ukraine is helping the Arab nations defend against Iranian drones, and the Russians are supplying parts to the Iranians. There is a level of willful, blind ignorance in the Trump administration towards the Russians. I don't know why, other than some of the advisors think somehow they could coddle the Russians into a Western alliance because they are naive with no real sense of history. It's time to recognize the Russians are getting our soldiers injured in the Middle East and would be fine if our soldiers died in the Middle East. It's time to recognize Ukraine is a natural ally of the United States. It's time to recognize that Ukraine's fight and our fight are roughly the same fight. We are fighting against a growing Eastern Axis alliance between Russia, China, Iran, and the worst rogue terror states on planet Earth. We are. Iran has supplied weapons to Russia and oil to China, and now China and Russia are supplying weapons and intelligence to Iran to come after us. The President of the United States needs to wake up and grow up to the realization that the Russians are not our friends, and he's not going to be able to head pat Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin has him on a dog leash and thinks that he can walk Donald Trump, and thus far, Donald Trump has appeared to be led by Vladimir Putin. As opposed to leading the free world, our president has wanted to accommodate Vladimir Putin. Our president has done a great thing trying to annihilate the Iranian regime. He needs to now recognize the Russians are in combat against us, whether we want to believe it or not. Mr. President, you got to wake up on this. The Russians are not your friend. You're not going to accommodate them. You're not going to move them to the West. You're not going to be able to find them. You need to take them literally and seriously. The Russians want to be their own sphere of influence in opposition to us. The Russians do not want an American-led order. They don't want a Russian-American alliance-led world order. They want a Russian world order, and they're willing to accommodate the Chinese and part of the world so the Russians have a part of the world they can control in opposition to the United States of America. That is the reality, President Trump. Wake up to it, please, sir, before our American soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines really start getting slaughtered in the Middle East by the Russians sharing intelligence and technology with the Iranians. They've done a trial run in Saudi Arabia at an air base. They have wounded multiple Americans, some critically. They have destroyed our aircraft. The Russians giving the intelligence and the means to Iran to blow up Americans. We got to pay attention to this. We have to pay attention to what's happening. We have to be realists in what's happening. We have to recognize, despite the naive claims of some in this White House, we need to stand against Russia, with Ukraine, and we have the capacity to destabilize the Russian regime. The Russians are growing weary of their war. More and more Russians are dying. The Russian people are tired. They've acquired no land in Ukraine. I'll tell you again, this is a statistic that blew my mind, and it's absolutely true. I'm not making this up. If you take the average pace of a snail and you put a snail on the border of Russia and Ukraine and you send it straight in as a crow flies into Ukraine, over the last number of years since the war in Ukraine started, the snail would have gotten further into Ukraine than the Russians have gotten into Ukraine. That's how badly things have gone for the Russians. Over 1 million Russian conscripts killed or wounded in Ukraine and unable to fight. And now the Russians have turned to fight us through Iran as a proxy. They have provided Iran the intelligence and means to kill our soldiers, and they came very close to doing so the other day as they destroyed American assets in Saudi Arabia. The Russians are not our friends. The Russians are not our allies. They do not want to be our friends. They do not want to be our allies. They want a sphere of influence, and they want an alliance with Cuba and China and Iran. We've deprived them of Venezuela. We're depriving them of Cuba. They're getting desperate for their alliance to hold. They have Iran right now. They want to hold Iran and protect Iran. You want to undermine Iran, you've got to recognize that the Russians are not our friends. You got to recognize the fact that the Russians want our soldiers dead. You've got to recognize the fact, Mr. President, You're not going to be able to get favorable terms with Vladimir Putin. He has outlasted and outfoxed every prior American president. And you're going to be the next one unless you wake up and realize what's going on.
Follow Erick on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Trustdale.com traffic center. Can't catch a break on the West Freeway. Trouble in the center lane, this time outbound I-20 westbound between 285 and Fulton Industrial Boulevard. And as you can imagine, that is slowing 285 both ways, trying to ramp onto I-20 westbound. Looking for new trouble downtown, 75-85 northbound around Freedom Parkway, putting extra pressure on the ride coming up from University. And left lane construction all gone into cab, I-20 eastbound at Panola. Traffic brought to you by Text Now. Some people still pay $100 a month for phone service. Text Now gives you 5G without the 5-figure commitment. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, unlimited freedom to switch things up. Try Text Now today. Alex Williams, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's morning begins at 95.5 WSB.
Lawmakers gathering in downtown Atlanta to talk about new legislation.
Make your morning commute a lot more tolerable.
Well, the search is on for a suspect after a shooting inside a Family Dollar store in Decatur.
Everything you need to know before you start your day.
Think about whatever you're doing in life, if you can, living on less than what you make.
Tomorrow starting at 5, wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day.
Coolray is celebrating 60 years of bringing home comfort to Atlanta, and to say thank you, they're lowering their service fee to $60 all month long. Dave Baker here. This means now is the perfect time to get your faulty outlets looked at, your HVAC system tuned up, or that small plumbing issue diagnosed before they become major repairs. For 60 years, Atlanta homeowners have trusted the Coolray name to keep their homes running smoothly. See them on the web at Coolray.com. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, you've talked for years about the importance of having a financial plan in place because it gives us that roadmap for the journey of retirement. That helps us navigate the ups and the downs, when life doesn't go to script. But hey, when can we ever count on life to go according to script?
Yeah, it never does, but we can script it out for you financially. And this is a pretty robust offer that we would present to you today. The first step is you call us or you go to unleashyourmoney.com and click that portfolio x-ray button or the 401k x-ray. That'll allow us to do about a 10 to 14 page report. We give it to you. It assesses exactly what's included in your financial life, all of your investments. From there, if you want us to take step 2 for you, again, completely complimentary, free of charge, we will build you an income plan to replace your paycheck in retirement. That income plan also includes tax strategies, which are extremely important for people in today's environment. Then, if you want us to take the final step, we can fold all of that into a full financial plan and map it out for the rest of your life or until age 100. All 3 of those offers, completely free of charge, completely complimentary. I would start with that portfolio x-ray. It'll take us a few hours to generate the report. We do all that behind the scenes. We give it to you in a half an hour, 45-minute meeting. Very valuable information for you to have on your ready and take home with you.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group today, 770-580-2024. That's 770-580-2024 or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich is strongly endorsing conservative Rick Jackson for governor. Here's Newt.
Few fought harder for President Trump than me, but nobody will fight harder for you than Rick Jackson. I've known Rick for over 20 years. He came from nothing, built a real business, and saved thousands of lives through his conservative Christian organizations.
America First warrior Newt Gingrich strongly endorses conservative Rick Jackson.
Like Trump, Rick is a once-in-a-generation leader. And like Trump, he can't be bought, he won't be intimidated, and the corrupt insiders know it. That's why they're scared. Rick will freeze insane property taxes, cut income taxes, and he'll fight for you, not the insiders. Join me in supporting my friend, Rick Jackson.
stand with conservative Newt Gingrich and vote for the conservative outsider, Rick Jackson, for governor.
Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Spring in Atlanta means one thing. Summer heat is right around the corner. Now is the time to schedule an AC tune-up from Jape Services. I'm Daniel Jape, and at Jape Services, our licensed technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your air conditioning system to run more efficient and help prevent future breakdowns. But if you do need a new system, now's a great time. 0% financing and instant rebates of up to $1,000. Keep your family cool and comfortable all summer long with Jape Services.
Jape Services.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Hello and welcome back. It is Erick Erickson here across the United States. I am very delighted to have you guys with me today. Don't forget to text Erick to 33777. Y'all, I'm really disturbed and bothered by a segment of people who have insisted on perpetuating a conspiracy theory about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The headline in the Daily Mail today is bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson, new court filing claims. It's actually an extremely dishonest headline, and it's dishonesty within the press recirculating headlines like this. The report actually showed that it was inconclusive, and it was inconclusive because the bullet had shattered. It was impossible to tie the bullet to the rifle when the bullet had shattered. And by the way, the science behind bullet matching is not a precise science. It's not really a science. Tyler Robinson's parents are going to testify for the prosecution. Tyler Robinson's trans partner is going to testify for the prosecution. They're going to testify that Tyler Robinson admitted to them that he killed Charlie Kirk. But Candace Owens and Joe Kent, and I think even Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson are continue to question the account. You essentially, the people who do not want to believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk want you to believe that a mother and a father and a partner of a suspect are going to collude with the state on behalf of the Jews to send an innocent man to prison. That's essentially what they want you to believe without putting it in those words. The level of poison and brain rot from people over this, and they're doing it, just so you understand, they're doing it for clicks because the clicks generate revenue. They're willing to sell you lies to line their pockets, and they're using the assassination of a young man and the torment of his wife to do it. This is deeply depraved stuff. And if they're not held accountable in this lifetime, they certainly will in the next, and that should at least give us some comfort. Now, Vision Computers wants to give you some comfort with your technology, and you got a hard time in your life not understanding computers, perhaps. You got technology problems happening, things like that. Vision Computers can help you. You call them at 404-COMPUTER, go to visioncomputers.com. They can build you new computers, and if they do build you new computers, their tech support comes included with it. So you get a special phone number. If you ever have a problem, even just a question, you'll be able to get a live human being on the phone in 15 seconds or less, not AI. And they can navigate you through your computer, find the lost file, fix the email, help you with the printer, whatever you need. You can also, for your existing computer, do this with Vision Computers. All you do is call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them Erick sent you. It's $199 a year. You get a discount, I believe, if you mention my name a little bit. It might help you out. But it's $199 a year per computer. You can do this for your whole office. Do the math in your office right now. You're a small businessman. How many computers do you have? Times $199. That'll be your price. They can help you. You don't have to hire the in-house person. Let Vision do it. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 2:30. I'm Veronica Waters. WSB's top story this half hour. The Supreme Court strikes down Colorado's ban on so-called conversion therapy, which targets LGBTQ plus minors. They say it's a violation of therapist Kaylee Childs' free speech rights under the First Amendment. After today's decision, Childs calls the decision a win for free speech.
I'm grateful that my speech is protected. But I'm even more excited that families and children seeking access to counseling that respects biological reality will be able to get the help that they need.
Critics say that conversion therapy has devastating effects on minors. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was the sole dissent on the court. A Duluth man and woman face charges for allegedly stealing packages this month in unincorporated Duluth and Norcross.
Gwinnett County police say the investigation began early this month after they received several reports describing a suspected porch pirate.
Somebody who was wearing a blue delivery driver vest, kind of like what an Amazon driver would wear or something, would have been stealing packages.
Corporal Ryan Winterweedle says police execute a search warrant at a hotel room where Lance Vance and Polima Mahaloma were staying. That's where detectives find several stolen packages and clothes used during the alleged thefts. Vance faces porch piracy charges. Mahaloma's charged with theft by receiving. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Major delays on I-20 during the morning commute followed a fiery crash of two tractor trailers closed down all eastbound lanes on I-20 near Riverside Parkway. Investigators say one truck slowed down due to road conditions and construction. Second truck crashed into it. Both of them caught fire, but both drivers did survive. They've got non-life-threatening injuries. As if food and gas prices weren't already high enough, the Iran war could push grocery costs even higher, thanks to the stoppage in fuel and diesel delivery. Economists say surging fuel costs could have a trickle-down effect on prices at the store on everything from produce to beef to pantry staples. Live team coverage of traffic and weather next. It's 2:32.
Most financial advisors only manage your money. They refer you out for taxes. They refer you out for estate planning. They refer you out when things get complicated. Did they really vet that person? Or did they meet once, exchange business cards, and call it a partnership? A referral isn't accountability. It's a handoff. When your investments, taxes, and estate plan are built separately, gaps happen, and those can cost money. At Trajan, we didn't build a referral network. We built a family office for all. Wealth, tax, estate. One team delivering coordinated planning, once reserved for the ultra-wealthy. If you want real coordination and not just introductions, call Trajan Wealth today.
Call Trajan today at 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
A stunning home calls for stunning exterior craftsmanship. That's why you trust the Plus. Painting Plus. They have the most experienced exterior craftsmen in the industry.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus. Trust the Plus family of businesses for everything on your list.
Painting Plus. The Plus means anything and everything exteriors at the highest quality. Your complete exterior solution.
Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
It's 2:34. Time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams watching the afternoon drive in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Still a rough one on the west side, Veronica. Trouble in the center lane, 20 west between 285 and Fulton Industrial. That's got 20 west on the brakes from Holmes Drive, 285 south from South Atlanta, and northbound jammed up from Cascade Road. Traffic troopers just told me about this. I see it. Car fire, 985 northbound before Highway 53, exit 16. At times, all lanes are blocked there. Use Thurman Tanner Parkway repair Highway 13 is some alternates. From the TrustDale.com Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies today, high 81, lows tonight in the low 60s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms, high 85. Partly cloudy skies on Thursday with highs in the mid-80s.
Right now it's 80 degrees at 2:35 on 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back. Erickson here across the nation. Text golf to 33777 and get a link to Van Allen Golf and also to the Golfers Journal. You can use my referral, and if any of you want to get me and my kid into Berkman's next week at Augusta, I would sure appreciate it. We're going next Friday. It's the tradition unlike any other. I get rejected 27 years straight for Masters tickets. I have been rejected for 27 straight years in the Masters lottery. And, well, I mean, and I've tried like 2 tickets and 4 tickets, and I don't know. I think I'm on a blacklist. Meanwhile, a buddy of mine has like won 3 times. But then in the last several years, different people have graciously given me some tickets to take my son, and it has become a father-son thing. He is going to have wisdom teeth taken out on Monday. He could have done it this Friday because he's out of school for Good Friday, but he didn't want to miss church on Sunday for Easter, so he's going to do it on Monday and hope to be recovered enough to make it to the Masters on Friday with me. I really hope so. And yes, I've already got a long list of people already ahead of you who want to go if he can't go, but he's basically willing himself to be able to go with me. It should be a good time. Berkman's would make it a little easier given he could sit somewhere in the air conditioning, but nonetheless, we're going to go and we're going to have a great time. There was a big decision today at the United States Supreme Court, and it was a First Amendment decision. And you would never know it was a First Amendment decision if you listened to the commentary out there from the news. In fact, someone did the breaking news push alerts to the iPhone, and I want to, let me track these down because I think this is very notable if I can find these. Also, by the way, in oral arguments today on a death penalty case, Justice Barrett referenced airdropping files, and the attorney who she was talking to had no idea what she was talking about, airdropping files. She says, "You're an Android user, aren't you?" Yes. Yep, she's not slumming it with the pores with your green chat bubbles. Let me read you these push alerts, and credit where this is due. This is Gabe Fleischer, who put this up. He's a Georgetown alum, St. Louis native. This is from the New York Times. Supreme Court rejects a Colorado law banning sexual orientation or gender identity conversion therapy for minors. Fox News. Supreme Court rules on quote-unquote conversion therapy ban challenged by Christian counselor. Breaking news from NBC. Supreme Court rules against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy aimed at LGBTQ youth. The Associated Press. The Supreme Court ruled against a law banning quote-unquote conversion therapy for LGBTQ plus kids in Colorado, one of about 24 states that banned the discredited practice. What the case was actually about was a freedom of speech case. Those are the headlines. Let me read for you now from the Supreme Court in an 8-1 decision written by Justice Gorsuch. Kaylee Childs is a mental health counselor in Colorado. In the case, we consider her First Amendment challenge to a state law regulating what she may say when speaking with her client. According to Ms. Childs' verified complaint, she holds a master's degree in clinical mental health and a state counseling license. Clients seek her help on a wide variety of mental health issues, including trauma, addiction, eating disorders, gender dysphoria, and sexuality. Ms. Childs does not begin counseling on any topic with any predetermined goal, nor does she seek to impose her values or beliefs on clients. Instead, she sits down and talks to them about their goals. Only after clients have identified their own aspirations does Ms. Childs begin formulating methods of counseling that will most benefit them. In any counseling that follows as well, Ms. Childs seeks to respect her client's fundamental right of self-determination. On matters of sexuality and gender, Ms. Childs' clients, including minors, come to her with different goals and minds. Some are content with their sexual orientation and gender identity and seek assistance only with social issues and family relationships and the like. In cases like those, Ms. Childs does not try to persuade her clients to change their attractions, behavior, or identity, but aims instead to help them address their stated goals. Other clients, however, come to her hoping to reduce or eliminate unwanted sexual attractions, change sexual behaviors, or grow in the experience of harmony with their bodies. And in those cases, too, Ms. Childs seeks to help her clients reach their own stated objectives. In doing so, she does not prescribe any medicines, perform any physical treatments, or engage in any coercive or aversive practices. All Ms. Childs offers is talk therapy. In 2019, Colorado adopted a law prohibiting licensed counselors from engaging in conversion therapy with minors. The state reports that it adopted the law in response to a growing mental health crisis among Colorado teenagers and mounting evidence that conversion therapy is associated with increased depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and suicide attempts. Any Coloradan who thinks a licensed counselor is engaged in conversion therapy may file a complaint. A complaint, in turn, triggers a disciplinary review process that can yield a fine, probation, or even the loss of their license. The term conversion therapy may evoke physical techniques such as electric shock therapy aimed at changing an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity, but Colorado's ban on conversion therapy reaches further, forbidding any practice or treatment that attempts to change an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity. The law forbids as well any effort to change behaviors or gender expression or to eliminate or reduce sexual or romantic attraction or feelings towards individuals of the same sex. At the same time, change sexual attraction or behavior. Even though Colorado's law surely has other constitutional applications, she insists those constraints strip her of her fundamental right to speak freely with her client. The district court and the 10th Circuit determined Ms. Childs had Article 3 standing to pursue their case. And on it goes from there. Essentially, the lower courts denied Ms. Childs' ruling or determination that this violated her free speech. You understand this? The psychiatrist is suing Colorado because Colorado tells her if a client comes in and says, I need your help getting my family to embrace my sexual orientation or my gender transition, she's allowed to help them. But if a client comes in and says, I am attracted to people of my sex and don't want to be, how can I change? She's not allowed to help them. If someone comes to Ms. Childs under Colorado law and says, I'm born male, but I think I'm female, she is allowed under Colorado law to help them transition to female, even though they're biological male. But if someone comes in who's a biological male and says, my brain is telling me I'm a girl and I know that's not right because I'm biologically a boy, she is prohibited by law from helping them conform their mind to their body. Today, in an 8-1 decision, the United States Supreme Court said that violates her free speech rights. If she's allowed to talk to a client in one direction, but not allowed to talk to a client in another direction, she does no physical therapy. It's all talk therapy. It's all counseling. That violates her speech rights. That violates her ability to engage honestly and openly with the client, particularly when the client has come to her with the problem. This is how Justice Gorsuch, writing for an 8-1 Supreme Court, ends this. We do not doubt that the question before us, the question how best to help minors struggling with issues of gender identity or sexual orientation, is presented as a subject of fierce public debate. But Colorado's law addressing conversion therapy does not just ban physical interventions. In cases like this, it censors speech. Colorado may regard its policy as essential to public health and safety. Certainly, censorious governments throughout history have believed the same. But the First Amendment stands as a shield against any effort to enforce orthodoxy in thought or speech in this country. It reflects instead a judgment that every American possesses an inalienable right to think and speak freely, and a faith in the free marketplace of ideas as the best means of discovering truth. However well-intentioned, any law that suppresses speech based on viewpoint represents an egregious assault on both those commitments. Justice Kagan filed a concurrence, and you will have to understand here the significance of this is that Justice Kagan used her concurrence to essentially say Justice Jackson is an idiot. Justice Jackson was the sole dissent. Now, I realize that when you question Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and point out that she is a blithering idiot, you are called a racist, because that is the only argument people who want to defend Justice Jackson have, is that she's black, and if you don't like her, it must be because you're racist, as opposed to this woman is a low-grade moron who should not be on the Supreme Court because she might be the dumbest person to have ever been put on the United States Supreme Court. It's so bad that in an 8-1 decision, Justice Kagan felt compelled to write a concurrence pointing out how dumb Ketanji Brown Jackson is. It's so bad that in multiple prior cases, Justice Sotomayor, not exactly the brightest star in the sky, also had to write concurrences pointing out how stupid Justice Jackson is. And today, Justice Jackson's dissent begins this way, quote, "There is no right to practice medicine which is not subordinate to the police power of the states." Lambert versus Yellowly from 1926. She writes, "This was true 100 years ago, and it should be true today." You got that? Her opening position. There is no right to practice medicine which is not subordinate to the police power of the state. Remarkably, just last year, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson believed the complete opposite in the case out of Tennessee that banned the use of gender therapy on minors. Justice Jackson argued that a doctor and patient privilege comes above the police power of the state. She literally argued last year that the police power of the state does not extend to the relationship between a doctor and a patient, and today is now arguing that the practice of medicine is subordinate to the police power of the states. She's directly contradicting her own written position from a year ago. It's so blatant that Justice Kagan has to essentially call her an idiot. Listen to Justice Kagan. Justice Jackson's dissenting opinion claims that this is a small or even non-existent category, this speech category. But even her own opinion, which lists, when listing laws supposedly put at risk today, offers quite a few examples. Her view to the contrary rests on reimagining and in that way collapsing the well-settled distinction between viewpoint-based and other content-based speech restrictions. When you have Elena Kagan, the leader of the left-wing portion of the court, saying Justice Jackson is too stupid to understand what she's doing, that's a pretty damning indictment on the intelligence of Justice Jackson. That's not me being a racist. That's Elena Kagan saying Justice Jackson's an idiot. Sonia Sotomayor has written concurrences saying Justice Jackson is an idiot. And here comes Justice Jackson saying that the right to practice medicine is subordinate to the police power, when last year in the Tennessee case involving gender transition, she said that the right to practice medicine must be superior to the police power of the state, the relationship between a doctor and a patient. She's an idiot. Side note, we're now 3-0 for religious liberty against the state of Colorado. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of Jack Phillips with Masterpiece Cake against an infringement on his religious practice over trans and gay stuff at a bakery. They ruled in 303 Creative against the state forcing someone against their will to create a website for a gay marriage. They have now ruled 8-1 on behalf of a therapist being able to talk to their clients about matters of gender transition and the like on free speech. So on free speech and free religion, the state of Colorado has tried to suppress people's First Amendment rights. And the Supreme Court has now batted Colorado aside. There may be no state in the country more hostile to speech and religion than Colorado, and it is the Supreme Court that has protected us from that state. For those of you who ask yourselves, what has conservatism conserved? They have conserved your free speech rights at the Supreme Court today. as the Supreme Court has regularly preserved conservatives around the country and protected conservatives from the left. What has conservatism conserved? A great deal in this country, in large part thanks to the Supreme Court, including, I might add, Justices Barrett and Gorsuch, which the populace regularly assail for being too non-deferential to Donald Trump. They continue to prove themselves reliably conservative.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
251 Trustdale.com traffic center. Big jam on the East Freeway now. I-20 westbound stacks into Panola Road exit 71. Stall in the center lane just past Wesley Chapel. Maybe use Covington Highway. I-20 westbound through West Atlanta. That's slowing. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive out to trouble that's been in the center lane before Fulton Industrial Boulevard, and in turn has had a negative effect on 285 in both directions. Traffic brought to you by SC250, Revolutionary South Carolina. Ordinary South Carolinians shape our history. Learn more at SC250.com. Revolutionary South Carolina, be a part of it. Alex Williams, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app,
all the notifications you
if
need.
you have the WSB app,
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
My wake-up call came 3 years ago. Like many of you out there, I was savoring some time with my parents. It's Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. I remember we were preparing a meal, and I saw my dad struggling with a boiling pot on the stove. That was the moment I knew I had to get into action on the home care options for my parents. Have you seen some red flags recently with your folks? Like them struggling with day-to-day tasks, being a little confused, having trouble remembering to take their meds. If your aging parents are showing signs, but they want to age in place in the comfort of their homes, please Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta and request a consultative call. It's free, and it's a crucial step towards your parents getting what they want and need, allowing you, the child, to do your role and just love them. Google Four Seasons Home Care. That's Four Seasons Home Care.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Belinda Skelton here, and I'm with Troy Pensa. Took me up on my free offer of a heart scan from Virtual Imaging and has an incredible story to tell.
I had actually signed up for an Ironman triathlon. As a proactive measure, I went to Virtual Imaging to get my heart scan done. Turns out that my score was a little higher than anticipated. Luckily, my primary care physician took serious notice of it, referred me to a cardiologist. I had my stress test and found out I had 3 blockages.
You weren't having any symptoms.
As an athlete and somebody who's been active my entire life, I never thought that I would even have a remote blockage, but turns out that it's hereditary.
You didn't even experience any chest pain?
None whatsoever.
Wow, that's the scary part. What are you waiting for? Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan with few minimum requirements. If not for yourself, then do it for a loved one. Call now at 770-678-SCAN or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com. 770-678-SCAN.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Erick to 33777 now.
So, just to give you a heads up on Friday, I have 3 distinguished guests on the Good Friday show coming up. Many of you know, in fact, the media would say controversial. He's not really that controversial. He's a very nice guy and a great pastor. Doug Wilson of Christ Church out in Moscow, Idaho, is going to be joining me on Friday. In fact, so we actually had to record the call yesterday to accommodate his preaching schedule this week. And so I recorded it on my phone, and I did not realize that when you use the Apple feature, it makes a ring. So twice during our conversation, this sound goes off on the phone. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm recording this. And turns out that the actual recording doesn't record the ding, but both parties on both ends hear it. And I'm like, well, here I am talking about this ring, and then people aren't even going to hear it. Matt Smethurst is the pastor up in, I think, River Bend Baptist Church up in Richmond, Virginia. He's the author of a book on Tim Keller's ministry, writes for the Gospel Coalition. And then because I always, this always happens, have people who flood the show said this was a great show, but are you ever going to have a Catholic priest on the show? I had Father Gadberry from Mountain, Arkansas 2 years ago on the show, but Bishop Robert Barron is joining me on Friday as well. Bishop Barron was able to accommodate his schedule this week. We're actually going to have the chat before Good Friday. He's obviously going to be very busy on Good Friday, but Bishop Barron, Doug Wilson, and Matt Smethurst all joining me on Friday for the Good Friday show nationwide. Please tune in. You can text Erick to 33777 to get the live stream of the podcast in case you missed it, although the podcast will be somewhat abridged by necessity. Also, I'm going to interview John Deloney. Now, let me tell you, where are we going, Kobe? You told me, and then I forgot. Old Glory Bank. If you go to oldglorybank.com/Erick, you can sign up with them today. So they really are my bank. I got a checking account. I got a savings account with them now. I'm the cheap guy. I've got the no fee, no frills checking and savings. You can get the interest-bearing accounts if you want. If you're active duty military, they will waive the fees on those interest-bearing accounts. If you're a veteran or first responder, they really take care of you. In fact, they work with charities around the country to get homeless veterans checking accounts so they're able to get their pensions and payments that they are owed from the government. Old Glory Bank is very hands-on with business as well. They want to protect your right to do business as you see fit. If you've got a legal business, they want to legally protect your right to bank how you see fit. Go to oldglorybank.com/Erick today. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. Do business with Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank would love to have your business. They'll treat you right just as they've treated me right. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. oldglorybank.com/Erick.
Topical. And then it hits me, and I'm like, this is a freaking AI lady.
Local.
Green's resignation is going to shrink the Republican majority in the House.
Getting you through your morning.
How does that work?
Mark Arrow.
You've got to be kidding me.
Mark Arrow.
Tomorrow at 9 a.m.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard. Sponsored by Coosa Valley Credit Union.
Everybody claims to have the lowest price on groceries, but Consumer Reports has now done exhaustive research to see who actually is the cheapest and where you'll pay a lot more. And what Consumer Reports did was they took pricing at Walmart, which is the largest supermarket chain in the United States by far, and compared their prices, which are really good, to others. And guess what they found out? Costco Wholesale and BJ's Wholesale Club are by far cheaper on the similar grocery items than Walmart. How much cheaper? Both of them 21% cheaper. You know who else is cheaper? Aldi. Your traditional supermarkets that compete